Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 embarrassing moments caught live on TV. TV has a reputation for being mundane and pre-planned. However, sometimes some really funny, cringy, and embarrassing stuff can happen live on air. From news anchors getting crept up on live on air to a game show contestant getting caught cheating red-handed, you're in for a treat, so stay tuned. But before we get into it, why not subscribe and turn on post notifications as well? Coming in at number 10, we have Hes Behind You. When you're doing a live news report, the pressure is on to get everything right. Thanks to this, your head usually needs to be in the game and you have to focus on what's going on. However, this can mean you're distracted from anything else that may be going on around you, which can be the downfall of some news reporters. Nobody knows that better than Wendy Birch of Los Angeles. She was doing a traffic report about the LA traffic and it was all going fine as she was reading off the facts and figures. However, midway through the report, a man creeps up behind her to get on camera. She soon notices and freaks out, screaming and running away. She was very embarrassed and startled and even swore live on TV, saying, "You scared the shit out of me." The man was laughing at his prank and she was laughing out of embarrassment at her extreme reaction. The final words from the cameraman say, "Hey, we're working here," before it cuts back to the studio. That is one news report neither Wendy nor Los Angeles viewers are likely to forget. I can't tell if the man is annoying and getting in the way or a hilarious genius. Watch the clip and tell me what you think.
Likely one of those international cities might... We're working here, man.
Next up is Lumberjack. One news reporter was at a local timber sports fair which involves sports that use wood. They had banned food, drinks, and various activities related to timber sports. Like many news reporters, they decided to do the activities available to the public. However, as I said, being on the news can put people under pressure, and we all know what happens when we're under pressure. This news reporter named Pete decided to do the Lumberjack axe throw, which was a competition. Another news anchor named Clayton had gone before him and got a bullseye, but Pete seemed to be aiming for a different target. His axe flew right over the target completely and hit a band member's drum who happened to be playing right by the target. The band member wasn't hurt at all, but he was surprised and his drum was broken. I can't tell if this is the fair's fault for not having a barrier, but perhaps they didn't think anyone would have such bad aim. Just remember guys, if you're playing the drums, be sure not to do it near flying axes. Do you think you could do better than this news reporter? Watch the clip and see.
Who's gonna win this battle with the Lumberjack? That's comes out next. I'm putting...
Next up is Cough It Up. Let me ask you a simple question. Do you want to be a millionaire? Assuming the answer is yes, then there's many ways to do this. Hard work, dedication, persistence. Or you could just appear on the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's very hard to win the million on the show even if you're a genius. That is why people were shocked when one really dumb guy named Chris Ingram got near to the million mark in 2001 before he was stopped. You see, this man didn't research any trivia, but his wife did have a book of trivia and a cell phone. He had a sneaky method of reading the answers aloud and then his wife would cough when he said the right one. He did this until he reached about $400,000, but then his plan was uncovered and he was promptly kicked off the show. Had this guy's plan worked out, he could have easily walked away a fraudulent millionaire. However, it must have been a very embarrassing moment when he was caught cheating on a game show in front of everyone, as it was still broadcast despite his cheating. Here's some of the coughs to show just how obvious him and his wife's cheating really was. Next up is boats. So we've had some mishaps with clumsy news anchors already. We know it's not a good idea to give them axes, but how do they fare on boats? Spoiler alert, not well. This is a Dutch reporter who is interviewing the mayor of a Dutch town on live television. She attempts to casually lean on the boat but somehow falls off. The mayor leaps into action, taking his giant chain off and trying to rescue her. Now that is a great political move. However, he soon decides against jumping in and throws a ring at her instead. The sound technician is also quick to jump in and make sure we get the action and embarrassment live on TV. This has gone down as one of the biggest fails on TV ever. But don't worry, the news reporter named Claudia was fine and didn't lose her job for this blunder of an interview.
Steden in de IJsseldelta. Want hier wordt binnenkort het grootste paasevenement van Nederland georganiseerd. Zeilkampen. Burgemeester, wat is er nou zo bijzonder aan zeilkampen?
Als je de mooiste... dat gaat niet goed. Deze kant op. Nee. Probeer.
Next up we have Hamburglar. This is one where a news reporter gets roasted live on air. But not by some guy in the background or a heckler, but by her own fellow news anchor. One man was signing off his news report and was passing it on to his co-host. He says now the news, for that the Hamburglar. The joke isn't clear at first, but it then cuts to one angry lady wearing a black and white striped shirt. In case you don't get it, the Hamburglar was a McDonald's mascot that used to wear a typical black and white striped burglar shirt. She didn't know whether to laugh or be mad, and eventually says she'll let it pass seeing as it's his birthday, but later says she'll get him back. I don't know if that means she's gonna steal his hamburgers, but this woman did really take it well, especially live on air. One thing's for sure, she won't be wearing that shirt to work ever again. This is one funny clip that'll put a smile on your face no matter what.
Time once again to get you caught up on your news headlines. For that, the Hamburglar.
It's your birthday, I'll let it pass. No, I won't. I'll get you later.
Next up is fall. This clip is very short, only a few seconds, but I'm sure it led to hours, if not days of embarrassment. We all know it's embarrassing to fall over whether you're walking down the street or collecting an award. However, it's also pretty bad when you're live on TV news. One female anchor was reporting on the traffic and was showing there was a fast traffic flow southbound. However, as she turns to point at the road, she falls off her podium onto the floor. If you listen out closely, you'll hear the camera guy yell, "Oh!" She falls onto the floor. The funniest thing is she actually continues with her report, saying that the average speed is 43 miles an hour. At least she professionally finished off the job, but she needs to stop wearing those heels, otherwise she could be in for more falls. The news reporter was fine afterwards, but I can imagine it was a little awkward that day, especially with wardrobe for giving her the heels and the set management who positioned her podium.
From Carmel, if you're using US 31 southbound, your average speed is 43 miles.
Next up is Chicken Run. This is an Australian news report of a chicken show that was going on in New South Wales. We all know Australia is known for dangerous animals, so we'd all assume an Australian would cope fine with a chicken. But despite this, one news anchor took it less than well when he was given a chicken to hold during a live news report. He was describing the large chicken when suddenly it began flapping. The man was then so terrified he ran away screaming with his hands in the air. Some people thought he was overreacting as some kind of joke, but he later admitted he just really doesn't like chickens. Yeah, probably best not to send a guy who's terrified of chickens to a chicken show. You can actually hear the guy behind the camera cracking up at how scared this guy got. But don't worry, no chickens were harmed in this footage, and only news reporters were harmed by the embarrassment of this clip.
Big black Australorp cockerel, one of 500 birds that are being judged today at the show.
Next up is laughter. This one is coming from Chris Brown. No, not the rapper. The WWAY3 news reporter, of course. He was presenting a simple story about a boat, but for whatever reason, he just couldn't stop laughing. The story seemed pretty mundane, but for some reason, he was cracking up. I'm pretty sure he'd seen something off camera because he just couldn't contain himself. He began snorting with laughter, and they even had to cut to a shot of some boats to allow him to try and stop. In the end, though, Chris Brown just couldn't stop laughing, and I bet the viewers at home couldn't too. They had to cut his story short, but luckily we still have this clip.
Daniel, charter boat captains said the new restrictions would just be too much, but Marine Fisheries Commission members, don't agree. The new restrictions would come in the form of a law.
Next up is wrong language. This one is coming from a Mexican news station. In case you didn't know, Mexican weather reporters are known for being very attractive. They're usually female and wear dresses you might wear on a night out. However, no matter how good you look, mistakes can still be made when it comes to reporting. This weather girl must have thought she was in America for some reason as she began to speak English as she signed off her report. She said thank you for in English instead of Spanish, and the entire crew laughed. She then quickly said thank you and goodbye in Spanish after realizing her mistake. Here's the funny clip.
Thank you, Fer. Muy buenos días.
Next up is B. One day a news reporter was doing his job as normal, reporting on a sunny day they were having by the beach. He just went live when suddenly a big bee flew right by him. Now many people try to avoid bees to not get stung by them, but this man has clearly had some bad experience with bees in the past. That is because he screamed and ran away as soon as he saw the bee come near. Sure, it was a large bee, but he overreacted and he soon realized this. He awkwardly said that's what happens when it's hot as soon as he realized he probably looked like kind of a wimp. He then asked, are we live? And of course they were, probably leading to a lot of embarrassment. Oh, and a few bee-related jokes back at the office.
What is up? That's because it's hot outside, stuff like that happens. Was that live?
Next up is cat. Just when you thought animals were done messing with news reporters, here comes a cat. This news station was doing a segment they call Animal of the Week. This is where an animal expert comes in to show off an animal to the hosts and viewership. Why they chose cat, the most common animal ever, I don't know, but this kitty sure does have some claws. As one news anchor was holding the cat, it grabs her hair and nearly scratches her too. The cat had to be taken back by the handler, and I'm pretty sure he was less than impressed with his feline friend. The news anchor was fine, if not a little scratched and embarrassed.
You had to get out of here. here because of that. Oh, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, he just got a little antsy there.
Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most embarrassing TV moment on this list. And guys, check out my second channel, The Crafty. There'll be a video for The Crafty coming up on screen in a second, so click it and please do subscribe as well. And as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s for new videos every day.